why is it important that we need to be able to communicate effectively with the patients?
For those who are interested in general medicine or family medicine, I'll tell you that your most important tool that you'll ever have is communication. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be able to do everything, but you do need to be able to communicate with people, because if you can't do that, you've dug a hole that you're going to have trouble getting out of. But communication is a term that we need to be careful how we use, because that's also in two directions. It's not only how well do you speak to a person, but it's how well you listen to the person. Communication is always two directions. It's from me to them, from them to me. So I need to be able to not just listen to them, but actually hear what they're saying. Because there's a difference. Listening is you can act like you're listening, but not really pay attention, because you're thinking about what you're going to say next rather than really hearing what they're saying. When you express yourself from your side of the communication, it's all about making sure that the person understands what you're thinking, and that you ask the right questions to get to know about them, that you can answer their questions clearly, that you can explain things that they'll understand. I mean, that's even what I said is, if I talk too fast, please tell me. That's an example of that, actually, is I want you to understand what I'm saying. And so you have to always, make sure that you're trying to be clear to people when you're explaining their diagnosis, when you're giving them instructions and so on. And always, always make sure you verify that they understood. Ask them, what did you just hear me say? Or what do you think I told you just now? Or to actually have them say back to you what they thought you said, so that yes, they heard exactly what I meant for them to hear. And likewise, when you are listening to them, to make sure that you hear what they're saying and address things that may not be obvious. What are they worried about, and how well do they understand what you're saying to them? And even what are their values? They may feel a certain way about an issue that you never thought of, or don't feel the same as them. And so you have to explore those things with them to try and find out, do they agree with what you're saying? And if they don't agree, then talk about that. But at the end of that, even to make sure that, just like when I said, you make sure they understood you, make sure you understood them, always end up with, so what I'm hearing you say is, or it sounds to me like you're telling me whatever it is that they're saying, to make sure that what I'm hearing is what they're actually saying. I mean, an example of that, somebody comes in with a headache, but what they're really worried about is, do they have brain tumor, because their uncle just died from a brain tumor. I mean, everybody gets a headache. So when somebody says, I have a headache, you might want to explore with them, have you never had headaches before? Yes, doctor, I've had headaches before. What's different about this headache? Well, it's just, my uncle died from a brain tumor. Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is, a real question is, do you have a brain tumor? That's right, doc. I'm really worried about that. Okay, I can deal with that, versus just giving them something for their headache. So those are some examples, some ideas that I have on that, and I'm open to other people's comments.
Yes, I definitely agree. A lot of time, we as physician, we feel like we know what patient wants. We assume that we know what the patient wants to hear or want to know, but we don't listen to what they're actually asking. And that can definitely cause us to have a lot of problem, because, like Dr. Abdouch was mentioning, if I go on and on to talk about, this could be a migraine headache, here's some medication for it, or here's some way you can help your headaches, but I don't do any workup, I don't address the brain tumor concern, I could do everything that day and the patient can walk away feeling like I did not help them at all. I did not answer their question, and their time with me was a waste to them. So that is a great point.
Or especially if you've had an experience that you'd like to share with us about things that we talk about.
I would like to tell somebody about the most important thing here. The reason why, because we are Vietnamese and we talk English. So this first one is the barrier, language barrier is the most important. And to prevent the misunderstanding, I suggest that we have some tools. You can use it. First, you summarize something after you get the story from the patient, so you can confirm with them that, and you can verify which one is the most important thing. So the first one that I would like to tell.
Thank you, Dr. Đình Vân. Yes, summarization is absolutely very important.